Hello, and thanks for joining us on Movie Night Memories. You must remember this, a podcast that focuses on movies and our favorite memories of them. Each week we discuss the films that are celebrating an anniversary from when they came out in theaters. My name is Sword Alexander, and I'm joined by the inspiration of this podcast, my mom, Tracy.
Good evening.
This week we're going to be talking about films released between June 1st and June 7th. We have Total Recall, the original, of course, Snow White and the Huntsman, Dead Poets Society, Big, Funny Farm, Ode to Billy Joe, Poltergeist, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Khan!
Get Him to the Greek, The Untouchables, The Truman Show, Urban Cowboy, City Slickers, and Jungle Fever. Actually, we didn't have a chance to see The Untouchables this week, but we're going to try again next year instead. But I had that on the original script, but I want to let you guys know that we're going to be seeing it next year instead. But this week, we decided to see Dead Poets Society, Big, Ode to Billy Joe, Get Him to the Greek, The Truman Show, Urban Cowboy, and Jungle Fever to get a fresh look and discuss them in more detail. Wow. We did have a very busy week, didn't we?
We sure did.
We didn't mean to. We just had a really easy weekend to take advantage of the time. And there's a lot of good movies that we really wanted to see or revisit that we haven't seen in some time. But let's talk about the other films that we didn't have a chance to see this week first. First up is Total Recall, released June 1st, 1990. Celebrating a 35th anniversary. It takes place in the year 2084, where Mars is a colonized planet. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Douglas Quaid, a construction worker who installs an implant that gives him memories of a past life as a Martian secret agent. Whether or not this is true is the unsolved mystery in this iconic sci-fi adventure. So, what did you think of the movie when it first came out in theaters? Did you see it in theaters?
Yes, I did. I saw it. Back then, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone movies were always on the agenda.
I figured it was supposed to be kind of a big deal. This was one of the most biggest sci-fi movies from what when I was reading up on some research about this movie. This was supposed to be like a big deal because it was adapting a pretty famous sci-fi book too. So was there a lot of attention beforehand and even afterwards too?
Well, the reason why this film and other films with Arnold Schwarzenegger is that it was always to go see how Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to look, how well built he was, how he was going to compete against Sylvester Stallone, what kind of action was going to happen. And then this next one against Sylvester, it was always a competition. Mm-hmm. The next film, what next were they going to do? What other explosion? What next thing? And this one was supposed to be a futuristic film, and people wanted to go see it. Mm. And this was the new decade. New decade. 1990. Yes, the new decade, and things were supposed to be very futuristic. Mm. So it was a big deal. Yeah. And I saw the new remake, which I liked better. So that was starring Colin Farrell. Mm-hmm. I think it came out in 2011, 2012. I really loved that new one. But at the time, I liked this one too. So I do also like both. I'd like to see the remake again, but people gave the remake so much crap. I know, and I loved it. And I don't get it. It's fine. It's like they're not trying to replace it. I mean, they're calling it Total Recall. It's literally trying to replace it. But I love I thought it's a movie. It's fine. It's good. It was. But we had no expectations, and we loved it when we saw it. So and we actually, as I recall, quote unquote. I think we saw the original, last year? Because we've been I went on a bit of an Arnold binge, watching some of his old movies. But we saw it not too long ago, a couple of years ago at the most. So I remember this movie pretty well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a great sci-fi movie overall. It's a sci-fi classic. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember seeing it with you. Maybe you saw it. But I think I probably saw it on my own. Oh, but yeah. I would like to see it again, maybe next year, so we can revisit it. Yep.
Next up is Snow White and the Huntsman. That's actually your turn. Excuse me.
It's okay. So, Snow White and the Huntsman, released June 1st, 2012, celebrating a 13th anniversary, a loose interpretation of the original story retold as a gritty action adventure with Kristen Stewart playing Snow White and Chris Hemsworth playing the Huntsman. He is hired to assassinate her by the evil queen, played by Charlize Theron, but secretly switches sides to rid the land of her tyranny once and for all.
Now, the reason why I mentioned this movie, because this is such a this is a nothing movie. It's not good. It's not a good movie.
That's not true.
It was okay. I don't like it that much. But I mentioned it because I wanted you to tell the story that we had an adventure for, because we went out and saw this in theaters way back when, in 2012.
We saw it when it was packed to the max in Gainesville. Mm-hmm. Packed to the max. There was not a single seat ever.
I'm surprised that we had good seats. We actually got really good seats. It was close enough to the exit where if you need to go to the bathroom or get some popcorn, you can do it, but it's in the middle, so it's perfect.
This theater was packed. It was so packed. And I don't like it that way. But I wanted to see it because of Chris Hemsworth. And I love Charlize Theron.
Especially because at the time, Chris was such a big, actor with being Thor and everything. So we went out and saw it, and we were making fun of the movie.
We were not making... No, when we went to see it, we saw it seriously.
At first.
And there was a scene in the movie that was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous scene. And it was packed, and we were just laughing at this scene. They were serious in the movie, in the scene, right?
Yeah, right. And we started making little jokes to each other about it, because I think I made the joke first, and to make you laugh, because I thought this is stupid.
The guy was.
I don't remember at all what we were laughing about.
No, I do. The guy was making, some kind of dwarf was making fun. Was actually saying how beautiful the deer was in the scene. He was admiring the deer in the meadow or something.
Okay.
And I cracked up. I started laughing and giggling, and we lost it. Okay, we just totally lost it. And this old lady behind us started shushing us, and she started going, "Shh, we're trying to watch a movie here."
I remember the breath, and we were just giggling and laughing at this, and all of a sudden we hear, on my right ear, your left ear, all of a sudden it just comes up close to us, and we hear, "Would you simmer down? We're trying to watch the movie."
Oh no!
And we were both. I was frozen.
No! They yelled at us. It wasn't like that sort. They yelled.
I felt like it was a quiet but laud whispering, because I was frozen in fear, and you looked at me like, "Uh-oh, we're in trouble."
They yelled at us. They yelled at us for laughing at that scene. It was hilarious.
Because nobody else was cracking up or anything. We were the only people. We were crazy maniacs. And it was so funny.
It was a hilarious scene where these dwarfs were admiring the beautiful deer in the meadow. And it was so stupid. It was the stupidest scene.
We even made a joke "Where's Bambi?" or something like that.
I don't know, but it was hilarious.
And
so what was refreshing is that when we went to the next movie, it was Madagascar 3. Mm-hmm. And we were the only ones there. And we stood up screaming "Oh my gosh, we're the only ones here."
It was a redemption for us.
We could actually make a noise without people shushing us.
That was so funny. I was floored. I'm do we actually have the theater to ourselves?
Yes.
It was great.
Because it was packed.
I hope you one day have a chance to see a theater, have a theater to yourself, because it's an enjoyable experience.
Yes.
But anyway, let's move on, because we spent enough time talking about it, but that was a great story. I love hearing it. So.
Oh, so up is Funny Farm, released June 3rd, 1988, celebrating a 37th anniversary. Chevy Chase and Madeline Smith play Andy and Elizabeth Farmer, a couple who move from New York City to a small town in Vermont to write their manuscripts and become attached to the funny lives of living simply. In fact, it's really not described properly. It was Chevy Chase who's supposed to be the author. And because things got out of hand, the wife ends up becoming an author too.
Right. And she ends up making these. This is a pretty funny movie. Like people don't talk about. People do actually talk about Funny Farm. It's one of Chevy Chase's better films. It's kind of like what is it? It's just like city people in a old country. It's like small town, country town trope essentially. But he takes it in his own kind of way. Chevy does, and it's a movie that I thought was very funny. It's got a good story too. I don't remember too much of all like the inner jokes and things of it, but there's some things I remember that are very funny and very enjoyable.
It's hilarious. It's a very funny film, and it's perfectly named Funny Farm.
Yeah, I would look forward to watching it.
We watched it not too long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago, but it's just it was good. It's a good movie. I thought we'd mention it because you really like the movie and I liked it too. So next up is Poltergeist, released June 4th, 1980, celebrating a 45th anniversary. In a California suburb, a family is terrorized by the spirits occupying the home of their dreams. They deal with strange voices, objects being thrown, mysterious messages from their television, and much more. Did you see this movie when it came out?
Oh yes.
So was this a really big deal?
Oh, absolutely.
So what made it's a Poltergeist movie. They've had so many horror films in the last decade before Poltergeist came out. What made this so special?
Well, this was a Steven Spielberg film, wasn't it?
Yes, directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. It was the I think it was the marketing of it, but also I think it was the term poltergeist made it so mysterious. I feel, and then the daughter that ended up getting killed in the film was also made it mysterious. And then later down the road, after the film came out, the little girl ended up dying. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of things that they said occurred during the film and after. So, but it really was a well done film. If you must know, people enjoyed it. Now, when I first saw the film, I kind of made fun of it.
So, like Snow White and the Huntsman. It's supposed to be taken seriously, and then you start laughing at there. Here.
Well, I didn't laugh at that. I laughed at the little old lady that was go to the light. You know, I made fun of that kind of stuff. But I made fun of films like that sometimes. So
was this treated more like a horror film?
It was a horror film.
Or more like a Steven Spielberg adventure film?
No, it was considered not horror. I would say
a thriller, probably. Well, like in its own way. Like
a scary film. Yeah. They would call it more scary than, it wasn't like a, well, I guess it's a horror. I don't know.
Anyway.
It was not so, it was a very big deal. People would go and see it 2 and 3 times.
So it's funny that you mentioned, like, there's rumors that things were happening in that film production. We don't know for sure, and I could tell you a fun fact about this movie is that they used real skeletons for one of the scenes. There's a scene where there's so much water coming from a storm that's kind of caused by the ghost too, that the pool that they're building, like, it's still just a dirt thing. I know. When the skeletons grab the mom while she's in there, those are real skeletons. Like what used to be a real person. Like a living person.
I don't know about that.
No, it's true. Steven admitted it. That he asked her to get the most authentic skeletons possible, and the props master, whoever was in charge of it, got real skeletons. And he said, "Those look real." And he says, "They are real." And he says, "They're real? They're real skeletons?" He's like, "Yes, they're real skeletons. You asked for real, I got you real."
Okay.
So, and that's funny because, speaking of things that have gone on, I recently saw the episode of Ghost Adventures when they were talking about, we're going to go to the Poltergeist house, and they mentioned the skeletons, mentioned this, and it's so funny because I was watching that episode, and they were trying to squeeze so much into this house. It really is so haunted and so poltergeistic.
It's not. That's so fakey.
I mean,
it's so fakey.
It's something else. I mean, I'll admit, like, there's a couple of weird things that went on in it, but, like, I don't know.
No, it's fake.
But for them to, I think it really does feel like, and I'm one, you know me. I love spirits. I love the paranormal. I'm a skeptic at first, but I'm really a fully formed believer of the paranormal. I fully believe, though, that anything that was talked about during the production that, things were actually happening in this house, I think that was all BS. I don't think a single thing happened in that production. It was just made to just sell tickets. It's way too much of a coincidence. Like, you don't hear other people doing this.
No, but there were... What I'm saying about the film production is that the little girl... The oldest girl was killed, and then the other little girl ended up dying of a disease.
Right, and that's unfortunate, but that's...
I think a stomach problem or
that's
something.
That's just an unfortunate coincidence, in my opinion.
But anyway, I'm just saying that I don't want to get into that right now. But
okay.
But I'm just saying that it was a very popular movie at the time, and stayed popular even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
It's very popular.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next film we're going to discuss is Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, released June 4th, 1980, which is the same day as Poltergeist. Celebrating a 45th anniversary, the fate of Starfleet is threatened when a legendary warrior known as Khan is revived and wreaks havoc on the fragile state of the galaxy. The only thing stopping him from victory is the crew of the Starship Enterprise. This was a very, very famous Star Trek movie. Extremely famous. My family loved this film. Loved this film.
So I can only imagine what it was like for them when they left the credits roll, movie's over, they leave the theater.
Oh my gosh!
Everybody pumped out.
And they would say "Khan." It was a big deal. They loved this film. They thought it was. Even though they made fun of it, they still loved it to make fun of it.
Mm-hmm. Which is what Star Trek is about: making fun of it a little bit and then relishing in the rest of it.
They love to make fun of Shatner he was overacting or whatever. And they would love to make fun of Khan, and it was part of the love of it.
Well, now I don't like going into spoiler territory for these movies, but I'm going to have to because it's one of the most famous spoilers of all time. That at the end of the movie, Spock dies. Now, I have to know about this. When Spock died, were there any reactions in the theater? Was anything going on?
Oh yeah, people were extremely upset. People were shocked and gasping and crying and.
So this, did anybody in your family believe that he was actually dead, or were they going to try to bring him back?
Oh, they knew that. No, they said, "Oh no, this isn't real. He's coming back."
But other people in the theater thought, like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, but my brother Danny was like, "He's coming back," you know.
And then the next movie is Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. See, it's like that famous quote from Princess Bride that Billy Crystal does, where he said, "There's a difference between completely dead and mostly dead."
We always know that with soap operas, people always come back.
Always somehow, some way, and the way that they brought back Spock was incredible, just absolutely incredible. But man, I really wish I had a chance to go back to that time, just like that week, to see what it was like when it came out. Experience it with people, because it's the best. I mean,
people dressed up. People dressed up. People wore Spock ears. You know, people dressed in Star Trek Trekkie clothing.
Was it bigger than the first movie? Because the first movie wasn't exactly lauded as much as the second one as legacy goes by.
No, it got bigger and bigger each year. That
the excitement got more for each movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just like with Star Wars.
Okay.
Because as more population grew, the populations grew.
That's fair.
For the fans.
Okay.
It just got bigger and bigger. And then it became more acceptable.
Well, it's good to know. It's good. All right, last but not least, the City Slickers, released June 7th, 1991, celebrating a 34th anniversary. On the verge of turning 40, an unhappy Manhattan radio sales executive is roped into joining his two friends on a cattle drive in the Southwest. I put this movie down because you love this movie. It's a great Western. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I think there's some good parts, and there's some parts that kind of bore me somewhat, but I'm a little bit pickier when it comes to a good Western. And this is generally a good Western that nobody talks about that much.
Well, it wasn't really considered a Western. It was considered a comedy with Western overtones that Jack Palance? What's his name?
Jack Palance, I think.
Jack Palance, who's a famous horror actor, who came back as an older man, as an actor, who won a Best Supporting Oscar for this film, from a comedy. So it's really famous, and it made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It made a lot of money.
It was like a $26 million budget. It made $180 million.
It was incredible. And
that's bizarre for a Billy Crystal comedy to do that well.
And it's really a funny concept if you think about it. These New Yorkers go on a cattle, what's it called?
It's a cattle drive. Yeah.
Because they wanted to get away, and they wanted to prove that they could survive this.
And that they could be real men.
Real men.
Because they were salespeople in some unhappy Manhattan place,
radio sales.
Yeah, they want to do something with their lives, something thrilling.
And they were turning 40, and so it's a really cute concept, and it was really well received at the time. And
let me go check on Gloria real quick. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Gloria thought she heard something, but you know how dogs are.
So she probably did hear something.
Yep.
So anyway.
So we're all good, and this was a good movie. I wouldn't mind seeing it again a year or two.
But Jack Palance did push-ups on the Oscar stage when he won the Best Supporting Actor, and he was in his 70s, I think. So it was incredible. Anyway.
But let's move on to the movies that we saw this week, and we're going to spend some time on them for sure, but we don't want to spend too much time on all these movies that we saw. But first up was one that neither of us kind of expected, was Ode to Billie Joe. Inspired by the hit country song, the film is about two teenagers who fall in love, but a traumatic event causes tension and the eventual tragedy of Billie Joe McAllister. Now, once again, we're talking about these movies because we recently reviewed them. Spoilers ahead, because we're going to be talking fully about these movies, especially about this one, too. So, you never saw us before, right?
No.
So, this is the first time for both of us. Now, did anybody talk about this movie? Was it ever involved? Is there any conversation when this movie came out from your memories of it? Because it came out in 1976, June 4th, 1976.
I remember it being for some reason, because I remember seeing commercials about it or seeing something about it because Robbie Benson, and he was very popular back in the 70s, okay?
And Robbie Benson, he voiced the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, the animated film later on.
That's important to you, but that doesn't matter.
It's important to a lot of people.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm trying to tell you something more important than that.
Okay.
He was a very popular actor back in the 70s, okay? Very popular. He was a heartthrob. He was considered a heartthrob for girls, and he was a very good actor. And so this movie was inspired by a popular country song, and we lived at the time in Mississippi near that bridge during civil rights time. I thought it had something to do with civil rights when I was a little girl. We lived by that bridge. Mm-hmm. When I was around 4 years old, I thought it had something to do with civil rights. I thought it was about a black and white person. Okay? Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with black and white.
No, and in reality, when this song came out, it was written by this woman, something Gentry, I believe. And when they made this movie, she admitted that she has no idea why the song's about a boy who kills himself by jumping off the bridge. And the person who wrote the song, when they were putting together the movie, what this film was inspired by, they thought, okay, why did the boy kill himself? And she admitted, I have no idea why he killed himself. I don't know who this kid is. It was just a local legend that goes around and inspired her to write the song. So then they had unlimited potential to see why would he kill himself, and they chose the most
insatiable.
I'm just gonna say it, ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous reason why somebody would ever do this to themselves. It kind of makes sense when you look at it from the time of from when they lived, but real quick, let's get into it.
But no, I have something to say that's very important.
Okay.
When I was 4 years old, there was major civil rights unrest It was all in the news. And there was black and white riots going on. My parents were very upset that my family, my brothers and sisters were going to school, and there was riots in the streets between African Americans and white people. And it was in Mississippi. Okay? And they didn't talk about this in this movie. There was major riots, and I thought that there was a major problem between a black person and a white person, and that's why Billy Joe killed himself, that maybe he got a girl pregnant. Now, this is what I thought when I was 4 years old, that maybe he was involved with some black girl.
So you think this is what the song was about?
Yes, I thought that, because it was hidden. I remember thinking, and I'd ask my family, I'd say, what's the song about? And because it was a real hidden song, there was nothing meaning, and they say, you'll find out when you grow up. You know?
So it was like this big mystery for you.
This big mystery!
So you could wait all this time to find out, not only is it about two southern white people, on top of that, the person had no idea why the person killed himself.
Right. And so, but listen, me thinking as a little girl, I was trying to put two and two, and I would see on the news these riots, and they'd always say in these interviews, if my little girl gets involved with that black boy, I would kill her. You know, and they'd say all these terrible things, and I would think,
that's why Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the bridge.
You know, because they played that song over and over and over and over. And it really wasn't a country hit. It was a popular hit. Because it was on all the stations. It wasn't just on country stations. It was on all the stations. So as a little girl, and my mama would say, one day you'll find out. You're too young to know.
Right. Okay.
So, but anyway, it had nothing to do with what I thought as a little girl, what this movie portrayed. And it was a ridiculous portrayal, if you ask me.
So the movie's about these two people. Like, they're two teenagers. They're like 15 and 6. 15. I think he's like 18, essentially.
No, he's not.
How old is he?
He's underage. He's underage.
Okay, the point is, though, that she's 15.
And he's
like under 18.
16. He's 16.
Yeah, and they fall in love. It's a sweet little story about two kids who fall in love.
And they used to be together when they were younger. They said they played together.
Right.
So they grew up together.
And everything.
And they have crushes. They have crushes.
So I want to talk about this movie just a little bit, just to go into the full plot so we can explain how ridiculous this is. Because it's just, you know what, honestly though,
I don't even want to talk about it.
We really shouldn't spoil it.
I don't even talk about it. It's a terrible... There's stupidity throughout the film about other stuff that makes no sense.
Yes. There are several situations that are completely asinine that never would have happened. Not only from a historical standpoint, from a character standpoint, from the story standpoint, like none of this. So little of it made sense.
They had a festival, and
let's let them.
No. They had a festival.
You have to talk about this, don't you?
But they had a festival. And the preacher is Baptist,
and the whole town's Baptist.
The whole town's Baptist. The whole area is Baptist, and they're handing out free beer, which would never happen, ever, never, ever. They don't believe in alcohol in Baptist society.
And it's not just the adults who are just drinking all this. They give it to kids.
And there's whiskey too.
They have like moonshine and stuff. And they start giving them out to everybody. Kids, adults, they don't care. And they're living it up.
And it doesn't make any sense. Because that would never fly.
And the day before, the preacher is saying, be sure to be good and not to let your devilish inhibitions take over. Like, don't let the devil get involved in your needs and your lives and your desires.
Area festival.
And they say, go buck wild with moonshine. Who cares?
And there's hookers there. And they all know there's hookers there.
They secretly, a bunch of drunk rednecks bring some hookers from another town to
the sheriff allows it.
The back of this barn. And, like, in the middle of the festival, which is happening in this barn.
And the sheriff allows it.
Not only the sheriff allows it, he's there. He's doing it with the hookers. No, he's actually in there with them, too. Okay, but... It gets insane. It's like, look, just don't... If you're going to watch it, it's terrible. It's an awful movie. I absolutely couldn't stand it. It had a budget of $1 million. It made arguably at least $10 million. It made at least $10 million. It did really well.
And we have an idea to do I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do, but we're going to...
But there's so many ways you can make fun of this movie. Anyway. I couldn't... What would you give it out of 5 stars?
1.
Yeah, I would give it probably half a star, actually. I really could not stand... The concept itself could have worked so well, but so much of it fell apart. And it all fell apart. Any kind of positivity I had for the film, it fell apart by the very end of it. By the very end, it
all fell apart. It all fell apart. The only decent thing about it was the 2 main actors,
who were great. And it's a shame that they were involved in this at the end of the day. But anyway, let's move on. Okay. Let's move on to another film, which
this is a terrible movie too.
Yeah, it is.
But the only good part about it is John Travolta.
Yes, it's called Urban Cowboy. It was released on June 6, 1980. It's directed by James Bridges, who did The China Syndrome, which is the first film that we saw for this podcast. It was also written by Bridges and Aaron Latham, who did a movie called Perfect.
Terrible movie.
So, here's the synopsis. John Travolta plays Bud Davis, a young man who moves to Pasadena, Texas, to work an oil refinery job with his uncle, a rodeo champion. Bud starts socializing at a local bar and falls in love with Sissy, another patron.
Who is Deborah Winger.
Their trials and tribulations are the focus of the film. This movie is like a better version of Roadhouse to me.
How dare you?
It's true. I honestly feel like it's like Roadhouse. It's about people getting violent in a bar, defending honor. The main character meets a woman.
They don't get violent in a bar. When do they get violent?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, they got a little violent. Not like Roadhouse. Not like Roadhouse.
It's not like Roadhouse. But it gets pretty bad.
No, it doesn't.
They get into it quite a bit. Like, it does get intense sometimes. And I'm just... It's another big...
Behind the scenes.
It's another drunk ego fight between men, and it's like that.
You didn't mention this. Hmm? It's very sexist.
It's extremely sexist. It's pretty sad about what the situation is. John Travolta plays a complete total jerk. He falls in love with this girl. Everything's great. As soon as they actually get together, though, as soon as they get married, he starts getting abusive physically and verbally. It's bad, and it comes out of nowhere. But that's what I like about this film, is that it is kind of realistic, where sometimes...
They didn't know each other that well.
Right. People marry too fast. They marry within months of meeting each other.
We don't know. It's a few days.
Well, they don't say that for sure.
It is.
But it feels like...
It's a few... It's
out of nowhere.
It's a week or 2 weeks.
Out of nowhere they get married.
Yes.
And, but they also buy a trailer. You can't just buy a trailer in a couple days.
No, they're renting a trailer. I thought
they bought it.
No, they're renting a trailer. Okay.
Well, still. It's kind of realistic, though, because you don't know what people are really like until you get to know them. And you can see the look on Deborah Winger, her character's face, when she realizes, when she's getting hit by this guy, when she realizes, oh, he's abusive. I didn't see this side of him.
Yes, he did. She saw it. That's when they had that big fight in the mud.
Well, yeah, that's when she really started seeing it, though.
No, that's before they were married.
But still, like, what I'm saying is... the look on her face to me showed, oh my God, I can't get out of this now. I should have thought about this beforehand. Now, not to say he's completely irredeemable. I just think it's a realistic take on it. He's a complete jerk, and he does start to kind of... He goes back and forth when becoming a better person, but...
But he acts like he owns her.
Right. And over time, things get worse, and they end up, not getting a divorce, but they separate. And she ends up meeting somebody else, and it's not going to into the whole story of it all. But it's very much it's kind of realistic at times. But at the end of the day, look, this isn't for me. This isn't my kind of movie. It's just so when this movie came out, they said it was a big deal when it came out.
Yes.
So why was it such a big deal?
Because it was a Staying Alive disco version.
Saturday Night Fever.
It's the Saturday Night Fever. But it's the Cowboy Saturday Night Fever. I'm serious. This was the cowboy version of Saturday Night Fever, and people went crazy. They said, "Oh, John Travolta can be cowboy. Instead of disco, he can be cowboy."
So we revitalized a genre of music.
Yeah, but not revitalized. No, he just switched it.
Well, like for people talk about how disco was revived thanks to Saturday Night Fever.
It wasn't revived. It just started.
But like they made it popular.
He made it more.
So it's the same thing with Urban Cowboy, where he made country music popular.
No, he didn't make it popular. It was already popular, but he made it more grand.
Okay.
He made it more grand.
Did you see this movie in theaters?
No.
So have you ever seen it before then?
No, I've seen it before. Okay. Because I would at the time I would never see a movie like that because I was not into country music. Mm-hmm. Okay, like that. Them going into their
world. I gotta tell you, I would not have seen this movie unless we were kind of required to watch it from our podcast.
I was into metal and stuff, so I would not see that. But I had seen it because I knew that I had to see what was the big hoopla about, but I didn't see it for 20 or 30 years.
Okay.
But I did see it like 20 or 30 years later. And John Travolta did an extremely great job. I think it showed the lives of people in the early 80s. It was 1980. It was released. Probably 79 that they made it. And I think it showed the life of that time. And I think that's wonderful that they did that. So I think it was an important film. And I think John Travolta was incredible. So I would give it a 2 to 2.5 because of how it showed life at that time. And the scene that John Travolta had to show when he was falling off that scaffold was incredible. Mm-hmm. And he showed so many different emotions from beginning to end. And he's an incredible actor. I've known about John Travolta being an incredible actor since Walking by Kotter. I've loved him in The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. He's an amazing actor.
He's been in a lot of not so great stuff, but he's been in a lot of great stuff too. One of my favorite roles he's ever been in was the TV show about American Crime Story with O.J. when he played that lawyer. It was a brief role, like 2 or 3 episodes, really.
Yes.
But when
he displays things, he displays them.
He really does. The look on his face when he asked him, "But I gotta really know, as your lawyer, did you do it?" And then Cuba Gooding Jr., his character, says, "No." And he looks at him, he's thinking to him, because you could see what he's thinking when he's hearing that response. You can see what he's thinking in his head. And it's just, you got to see it for yourself. But yeah,
John
anyway.
Travolta is an incredible actor. He played in Hairspray.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
But I'd probably give it a 2. I think it had a lot of good ideas, good potential, but it just fell flat on its face for me.
I'm telling you, it brings out a lot of people's emotions.
It does. It really does.
So I think that shows a great movie.
Well, let's move on to Big, released June 3rd, 1988, directed by Penny Marshall, who did A League of Their Own a couple years later. And it was written by Gary Ross, who did Pleasantville, and Anne Spielberg, who was Steven Spielberg's sister, who did uncredited work as a writer for a movie called Small Soldiers, which inspired Toy Story. Now, this movie, I mean, who doesn't know what Big is about? But long story short, it's about a 12-year-old boy who makes a wish with an old coin-operated fortune teller named Zoltar.
It's a fortune teller machine.
Right. And the ages overnight into a 30-year-old man. And then he has to grapple the world in a brand new viewpoint with his best friend, and he finds love, success, and so much more. This is such an iconic story. It's one of the best Tom Hanks films of all time. I don't think it's his best. I think he's been better in other stuff, but it's a great movie. Everybody's seen it at least once. Who really likes movies? Everybody's seen it at least once. What surprised me is that Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel, they talked about the film. They liked it. They said the writing really makes it superb, and they also really wanted to point out Robert Loggia, who played the boss of this big toy company that Tom Hanks' character ends up working for. and to point out that he was really underappreciated in the last few years before this film came out, and he was underappreciated in this film too. But when this movie came out, was it as big as everybody was talking?
It was huge. It was a huge film. Everybody wanted to go see it.
Was it huge like before the movie came out, or was it just like, oh, it's a Tom Hanks movie, okay, and then boom, it's big?
I think they marketed it very well. It was on TV all the time about going. They'd show Tom Hanks on that piano in F.A.O. Schwartz and Robert Loggia. Is it Loggia?
I think it's Logia, but
okay, okay.
Tomato.
Anyway, so they show them playing on that piano, and then they'd show him as a little boy in those big clothes, okay, walking away, and you wanted to go see it. They thought it made it a special thing, and that little boy looked so much like Tom Hanks at the time as a little boy.
He kind of did, and
it was such great casting.
And the mom played in Frasier, which we know is like one of our favorite episodes. She was great.
She was so good in it.
And then Elizabeth Perkins, who plays the love interest that Tom Hanks' character kind of falls in love with. And they fall in for each other, really, and she's great in it. They have such great chemistry with each other. Even in some ways, like with the boy figure at the very end of the movie, with her, they have such great chemistry. It's just two people who understand, like, we love each other, but this can't be this way. And, I mean, it's a classic movie.
I'm telling you, people loved that movie. And no matter how many times I've seen it, I still love that movie. And they would show the scene where he's eating the little corn on the cob. That's supposed to be just corn.
Yeah,
he's eating it like it's
the tiny little corn things.
Yeah, and it was funny, and people laugh, and they wanted to go see that movie because if that was funny and that just little short clip, how much funny could it be when you go see it? Mm-hmm. And then everybody would laugh when he say, "Well, I'm on top," it was the bunk bed.
I was gonna say that was my favorite part of the movie is where he says, "Do you want to sleep over?" She's like, "Sure." And
he goes, "Well, I'm on top."
And then he goes on the top of the bunk bed. It's like, come on.
And then he makes her jump on the trampoline, and she says, "You want to watch me jump?" And he's, "Yeah, I want to watch you jump."
And then he makes her jump, and then she starts getting really into it, like, "Oh my god, this is great!" And like, it's just so perfect. Like you could tell they put so much love into putting this together. It's a great movie. I mean, how often what can we say about Big that hasn't been talked about already? But it was huge. I really enjoyed it. I thought it's a great time.
It was huge because it's big. Right.
And I would give it, I don't know. I honestly, I'd probably give it like 4 stars out of 5 because I feel like they could have done a few things differently in my mind. They spend a little bit too much time with, I think it's kind of cliche where they did the whole, you're an adult now and things used to be different when you were this way and now you're this way. And then like he has the falling out with his best friend. I've seen that too many times before.
You didn't like that it wasn't realistic about the mother didn't call cops and look for him and he was gone and you started getting upset. You got real upset.
Like this would never.
You said there would be a major investigation. You were real upset during when we were watching it. That wait a minute, and you got into this. I said, just let it go. It's a movie, and you were really upset.
This kid's been gone, and there would be some kind of like there would be a bigger investigation than the mom's just being crazy. I'm like, no, this kid's actually missing. And they put him on milk cartons at least, but like. I don't know. I feel like there would have been way more going on when it comes to trying to find him. I know. But anyway, I give it 4. What would you give it?
I definitely give it a 4.5. 4.5.
All right, let's move on to The Dead Poets Society. This is another classic movie. It was released June 2nd, 1989. It was directed by Peter Weir, who did The Truman Show, another movie that we saw this week. It was also written by Tom Schulman, who did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And it's about, I mean, who doesn't know about this movie? But general synopsis is, a group of young men at a prestigious private school are inspired by their unique teacher to restart an unofficial club he started long ago. He teaches them the beauty of poetry and seeing life from a different point of view, leading them to seize the day and rethink their future.
So I think, I could be wrong, this was the first serious role, or maybe one of the first serious roles that Robin Williams really played. And I think he won an award for this role. From my memory, I think this really made Robin Williams really be considered a serious actor.
No, yeah. I think you're right. I think you have a point. I can't recall any movie before at least from the top of my head.
Maybe A World According to Garp was before. I'm not sure.
But I'm not familiar with that one, so I wouldn't know.
But I really think this was the one that made him be considered a serious actor.
Mm-hmm.
The others, this was the one.
And this is one of the greatest dramas, in my opinion, ever made. One of the greatest written stories about school, about pressure, about, rebellion, and about just like the love of life and whatnot. I don't really want to talk about the spoilers in this movie because you gotta see it. You really gotta see it.
It really made him be considered a really serious actor.
So when this movie was released, bring me into that world.
It was considered like you were smart to go see this movie. Okay? Smart people went to see this movie. It wasn't where Robin Williams was going to be doing gimmicks and
Mork and Mindy things.
Yeah. If you went to see this movie, you were considered a smart person. You wanted to see something intelligent. You were an intellectual. It was. It didn't have some. People were like going, "What do you mean, Dead Poets Society? Dead Poets Society?" You had. And it was just. It was. You knew it was a serious subject matter.
So when it came out, did it get as big as the legacy that still holds up to this day?
Yeah, it still holds up to this day.
But when it came out, did people talk about it everywhere? Was it a huge deal?
No, it was quiet.
Really?
But it was not like big.
Mm-hmm. But the box office was huge because it got $235 million.
But see, what I'm trying to tell you is that it was more of older people that went. It wasn't the younger people that went.
Right, because what college kid's going to be like, I want to go to see this movie about a bunch of kids.
It was, and more intellectuals went to see this movie. It wasn't the blockbuster people. It was the older intellectual people that went to see this movie.
Now, we talked about some of the acting of Robin Williams, but of course we have to point out Robert Sean Leonard, who played, the main kid who wants to become an actor because his father's played by Red, from That 70s Show, and he was so great in it. Ethan Hawke plays his roommate, and he's also equally excellent in the film. There's so many other great actors who play these group of boys who create this unofficial club.
But the club was started by Robin Williams when he was at the school
as a student. Right. And then eventually, it got shut down because they moved on and everything. It was an unofficial club because it's such a prestigious school, and it was a silly club just to be about poetry and everything. And he transforms these kids' lives because they're inspired because he's different from all these hoity-toity, snooty professors and whatnot, too. It's just an incredible film. I mean, what's something that you really appreciate about the film that you've looked upon after seeing it again?
Well, I've seen it several times.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I see it, I never get bored with it. And it always touches me, and it always shocks me, too. So, and I'm right now getting chill bumps talking about it because it's always a film that's really affected me.
It hits you. It really does hit you.
It hits you deeply in your heart and soul.
So that's why it probably surprised you so much, because we talked about, speaking of the reception, when I put the critic fact on the script saying that Roger Ebert, he really kind of went to town on saying that the performances were good, but the story was very weak.
I don't want to talk about him.
Okay.
I can't take it because I think he's wrong, and he's not always right, but he's not always wrong, and he's definitely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give this movie a 5.
Yeah, I would give it a 5 too. I think it's pretty much perfect. You could not think of anything better to really sum it up. A couple of things, but I'd still give it a 5.
But I do have to make something funny. There's a funny skit on Saturday Night Live making fun of this movie.
We need to see that. We didn't get to see that yet.
Yes, we did.
Did we?
Yes. They stand on the chairs and the fan.
Oh my god. Yeah, we did see that. Oh my god. The ceiling fan chops their head off. I forgot about that. Oh my god, it's great.
It's horrible. It's a Monty Python kind of skit.
All right, let's move on. Next up, we're going to talk about Jungle Fever. This was released June 7th, 1991. It was written and directed by Spike Lee. Spike Lee, who's done so many great things. So this movie is about a married black man who decides to have an affair with an Italian-American colleague, resulting in secrets being revealed, violent outbursts, tensions rising across neighborhoods, the fallout of multiple families in this exploration of interracial relationships and how society treats them. Let's cut it to the point where it's like, listen, this is about race relations, this is about interracial relationships. And we both agreed that there's a lot of points where this film fell flat when it came to the conversations about what actually would happen and these kind of tense situations. It's not just about interracial
relationships. But it's also about drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's not just about interracial relationships.
Yes.
It's about serious problems with drug addiction, Halle Berry.
Yes, but we'll get to that.
I'm not finished. Okay. Halle Berry and Samuel Jackson were incredible.
So we'll get to that.
Okay,
but
I have to say that.
I know, but I just wanted to make it clear, like to myself, I guess, that while I think there are some very good conversations that were told in this movie, there were some other parts that were completely ridiculous and this would never have happened, that Spike Lee in his head somehow thinks would happen, things that I really I was getting kind of seething mad at, where things that he had made decisions in the story that didn't make any sense, that would never happen, and for him to imply that these things would happen is ridiculous. But on the other hand, there was some great stuff in here, great conversations that were said between characters that felt very realistic, and that's so funny about how that operates.
Yes, but everybody has their own interpretation, and they have that right. But I agree. But there's also, I think, a key point that he made, that there's difference in skin color that's discussed between African Americans. A dark skin color versus lighter skin color, different tones of skin color.
And they really talk about that quite a bit, which I'm glad they do, because it's a great conversation to have in general, especially between, there was a group of black women who were talking about, like, after the wife finds out that she's getting cheated on by Wesley Snipes' character, and they have a great conversation. It's actually improvised, mostly, but it's so well done and put together. It really talks about the relationships between, different cultures and subcultures, too, that really reflect how America not only was treated back then, but how it treats itself now, too. But let's talk about the performances for a quick second.
Okay.
I mean, Wesley Snipes, I thought he was great in this. It wasn't his best role, in my opinion, but he's really good in it. I mean, you can't deny that. He did a great job. But the real breakout stars in this movie were Samuel L. Jackson and Halle Berry. They played two crackheads, and they are insanely good in this. I never even recognized Halle Berry. So
at first, and then
when they started showing her, I said I had to pause the movie and look at you and say, "Is that Halle Berry?" And you were like, "Yeah, it is." Like, holy crap!
But you did learn that Samuel L. Jackson had just come off of being in rehab from being on crack.
Yeah, and that also really shocked me.
Yeah.
But it made sense why he did such a good job, because he actually does know what that's like. And it's really incredible. I mean, I love Samuel L. Jackson. He's an incredible man, incredible actor, but it really just sells it home so much. I mean, he got nominated for so many awards for his role in this movie, and he was just a side character, really. He was good. But he deserves it, absolutely. There was a lot of times where this is such a hit and miss film for me. Did anybody talk about this movie when it came out? This was supposed to be a big deal, apparently, like, at the time.
I remember there were discussions about the film. I never did go see the film. I was disappointed in the music of the film. Not Stevie Wonder's music. It was the other music.
Like the Frank Sinatra, Rat Pack, kind of Italian stuff. And it would go on different scenes randomly.
And it didn't make sense. Yeah. And you and I both know what I said. Mm-hmm. He was trying to make it sound intelligent, and it was not appropriate.
Almost kind of Casablanca film noir-esque, and it just didn't fit. It really did not fit.
It wasn't Casablanca. It wasn't Casablanca. He was trying to make it sound like Harry Connick Jr. and Rob Reiner-ish, smart, but it didn't fit.
It really didn't.
That's my interpretation. Mm-hmm. He, take it or leave it, but he was trying to make it sound intelligent, and it was in the wrong time. Music, and he obviously had somebody that gave him
advice,
and he gave him the wrong music advice because it didn't fit in certain places.
But after all that, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
A 2.5.
I give it a 2.5 too.
Because there was places that didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. And it's a movie I probably won't see again, but I mean, I really applaud the performances in it, and sometimes the writing really hits home, and it's really impressive what he can do.
And there was things that really shocked me. Mm-hmm. Anthony Quinn being in the film was great.
John Turturro, I mean, he was excellent, and he did a great job showing, like, somebody who was not racist and trying to deal with his racist friends, and trying to just, like, figure out what he wants to do with his life. He did a great job in it. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next movie. We have The Truman Show, released June 5th, 1998. It was directed by Peter Weir, and it was written by Andrew Niccol, I think that I'm saying his name right, who also did a movie called Lord of War. It's an underrated film. I definitely recommend, if you're old enough to really enjoy it, appreciate it. It's a great war movie. And, I mean, The Truman Show is one of the greatest films, not just critically, but, like, of all time. It's really one of the greatest films of all time, in my opinion. So the synopsis is, selected at birth and legally adopted by a television studio. Following an unwanted pregnancy, Truman Burbank is the unsuspecting star of The Truman Show, a reality TV program filmed and broadcast worldwide 24/7 through approximately 5,000 hidden cameras. It's about a guy who essentially just is, he's being filmed his entire life and has no idea he's on a TV show. And people use the term Truman Show as a reference to this movie when people feel like they're trapped in a scenario that everybody knows. Like, I think it's actually a natural psychological term now. But that's from my memories of it, at least.
Well, its budget was $60 million, made $264 million. People were obsessed with this film. Mm-hmm. I think, Jim Carrey was the reason. He was incredible.
He really was. I mean, he is an incredible actor, but, this movie to me shows he's been so many great things. I mean, since The Mask, of course. I mean, he's fantastic and all these great shows, but I think people started to take him really seriously in The Truman Show, because he really did. He was funny, sure, but at the same time, he really kept himself more subdued to take on this serious role. And it's how everything goes is so realistic, and it's so well done. I mean, you just got to see it for yourself. It's one of those movies where you just have to go out and see it for yourself to understand why it's so great.
I learned a lot from the after
behind the scenes that we were watching.
That was incredible to watch that. But every time I watch that film, I learn something new.
That is how it is. It really is how it is. And I mean, there's some great acting in this, but Jim Carrey is really what takes it home more than anything else. And the way they shoot it, the writing is so well done. I really thoroughly love how they evolve and show you the character over time very naturally. You end up feeling like you've been watching the show for years, even though, obviously you've never seen this Truman Show before. But when you start watching it, you really feel like you were a viewer as well for as long as it's been around. And that's so... I never talked about this yet, but that's so difficult to pull off. And it shows the kind of movie magic it takes to do something like this.
When this film was released, the Ford Taurus sales went up.
Really? because of the action sequence with that car and everything. That's interesting.
Just showing that, because it was a new model, and people were attracted to that car, and in that movie, and then sales for Tauruses went up.
It's funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, you said that you really enjoyed how the film is like that you learn something new every time you watch it as well.
I always see something new. I always observe something new. I always see something new about Jim Carrey and his acting in it. There's something always surprising that I notice. And even though I've seen it several times, I don't see it like every year. It's not like a movie that I adore.
But it's one that you can really appreciate.
Yes. It's not like... There's some movies I watch every year, but this one I don't. Mm-hmm. But every time I watch it, I find out something new.
That's how I feel, too. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. What would you give it out of 5 stars?
I give it a 4.
It's so great. It's so great. 4 out of 5.
But I'm a very picky person about movies.
I know.
And the only reason is that I cannot stand Ed Harris. Mm-hmm. I think he's wrong for being
the director of the show, the Truman Show itself.
I don't like that cap that he wears on his head, that beret. I'm being picky. I'm being very, very picky.
4.5 stars. 4 stars because he's got the wrong hat.
I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious.
I know. I'd give it 5 stars. I think it's fantastic. I would change a couple of little things, but that's nitpicking. I think it's fantastic. So let's move on to the last movie. And this one was interesting to say the least. It's Get Him to the Greek. Russell Brand plays a drug-addicted, alcoholic rock star from England who's called Aldous Snow, who meets up with Jonah Hill, a talent scout from Pinnacle Records, whose boss is P. Diddy, Sean Combs, like the Sean Combs P. Diddy.
Who's on trial now.
Who ends up acting like a criminal in the movie, but everybody knows he actually is a criminal now. And it's an insanely raunchy movie. It's really out there. It's like if Spinal Tap was on steroids and had no talent. It's like we're trying to recreate the rock star lifestyle kind of situation in its own way. So I remember we loved this movie when it first came out. And after watching it at the end, you kind of had a different look on your face when you saw it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. There was not as many laughs as when we first saw this movie compared to like seeing it now. A lot less laughter. But I think that really comes from the shock humor. From when you first see it, you're like, holy crap, what's happening here?
No, see, at the time I really loved Russell Brand. Because he was so new to entertainment. I really loved him as a crazy British guy.
And this was in 2010. Yes. I forgot to mention this was released on June 4th, 2010.
But I really loved Russell Brand. I could not stand Jonah Hill. Could not stand him. Still cannot stand him. And I thought it ruined the movie.
I've been kinder to him over the years, personally. Because I didn't used to like him that much either. But I've seen him in some better stuff. And I think he's pretty good in this. I feel bad that he's so big in this movie. Like, this was, to me, the peak of his weight problem. And I feel bad watching him in it. So I'm glad he's taking better care of himself since. I
don't like him as an actor. He doesn't appeal to me. Why? How did he become?
He was fun. He's like a funny kid character, and then but then as you get older, he's still popular in some stuff, and then he falls off. I think he had some problems or something like that. I don't know his life story. I don't know who the guy is, but of all the movies I've seen him in, this was one of the better ones he was in. So it's funny that you say this, but it's true. Everybody's got opinions on actors. I definitely have my opinions on some actors too. I think it's a real shame that Russell Brand. I mean, he's great in this. He's so funny, but at the same time, like, it's hard to separate the artist from the art now because it's so close to what he is going through right now.
The P. Diddy thing,
and Sean Combs in this movie. And
it's disgusting. He runs down a hallway.
Yes. And so he's chasing them down a hotel hallway.
Yes.
Like he's going to violently attack somebody.
Yes.
Just like this video situation
and also he's chasing him in the middle of the highway.
He talks about how he goes on these
He's
crazy...
He's going to kill them.
And yes, and he also talks about how he goes to these crazy parties, and he puts on these crazy parties. It's so...
And he's going to kill them.
It's so weird. It's so bizarre.
And he has his face filmed. And he looks... He's going to kill him. He's got this knife in his hand.
And you think
he's got this saber in his hand.
But think about it. At the time, it's like, haha, it's so funny. He's acting all crazy. But like now, it's not funny anymore.
I remember thinking in that film, when I first watched it, I remember thinking, this man is a criminal. I remember thinking, this man is a criminal, and he's just playing himself.
Yes. But people think, oh, he's just playing a crazy character. It's like, no, he's playing himself.
No, I thought he's playing himself, and he's a weirdo, and he does this really, and people think it's funny, and it's not funny, and he's really a criminal, and he kills people all the time. And I was right.
Oh my God, I'm dying right now.
You're laughing, and it's not funny.
It's funny that all these things are happening. It's coming true. This movie is realistic. All right, so look, the movie we laughed. Garbage. We laughed so little at this movie.
The only thing I liked was Stroke the Furry Wall, and his father was funny. That played his father. He was funny.
The music is surprisingly good in this. Like they have, it's a fake rock star, but they made real songs out of this movie. It's like, and the song at the very end, the credits, Furry Walls, it's a legitimately good song. It's like a legitimately good song.
We like the Stroke the Furry Wall part.
Right.
And they talk about the Jeffrey and stuff. It's funny.
But I'm serious. I have that song on my phone. I listen to it. It's on my music playlist. I love that song. It's a legitimately good rock song. It's really well done. I'm surprised by how good it is. And they made the soundtrack just for the film, just like Spinal Tap too.
I was disappointed.
What was the best part of the movie in your opinion? When it ended?
Yeah. That's it.
Oh my God.
No, I like the Stroke the Furry Wall.
Yeah, I think the music was the best part of this movie. And it's really not aged very well. It's just not funny. It's just not as funny as it could have been. And it's kind of a shame because the person who directed Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and that was a big movie at the time too. But anyway, we're exhausted. Yep. A lot of time talking about these movies. Thank you guys so much for listening in.
Yeah, and by the way, it has been since 1977 I first saw Led Zeppelin on June 3rd.
What do you know?
I was 14 years old.
Song remains the same, doesn't it? So thank you guys so much. We can look forward to next week. We're already planning on how next week's going to go, and we're already excited to talk about it. See ya.